Everybody, welcome to online class. In today's class, we'll discuss regarding the contents of audit report. What audit report will be included, that we will be discussing. That too according to the law. Okay, how it should be, that we will be discussing. We have discussed the content of audit report in general, but now we'll discuss according to the law. Okay. Now, according to section 227 of 2 and 227 of 3 of the Companies Act 1956, the auditor should clearly specify some points in his audit report. What are those points? First one is whether the accounts of the company provides all the information as required by the Companies Act. Yes, whether in auditor's opinion and according to the information available to him and the clarification given, the accounts of the company should provide all the information as required by the Companies Act, and the balance sheet at the close of the financial year and profit and loss account of the year should present a true and a fair view of the financial position and the profit or loss of the company. Okay. Then, according to section 227, two main duties of the auditor is what? First one is to mention in his report that accounts have been prepared in accordance with the method prescribed in the Companies Act or not. Then he should clarify that the accounts present a true and fair picture. Okay, remember these two things. Then second one, whether auditor received all information and clarification as required for the audit work. See, whether auditor has received all such information and clarification and explanation as they are necessary for conducting the audit work and according to his information and belief. The auditor has a right not only to reach the books of accounts and vouchers of the company, but he can also obtain from the directors or high officials all such information and clarification as he considers necessary for performing his duties as an auditor. If these officials do not cooperate with him, then he can mention those points in his audit report and strict actions will be taken for or against such officials. Okay, next comes is whether company has maintained proper books. Yes, whether in auditor's opinion the company has maintained proper books of accounts according to the Companies Act or not, that should be verified, and whether adequate details have been obtained from branches and these informations are examined by him or not will be considered in the contents of audit report. Then fourth is whether or not he has received reports of branch account. Yes, if the branches, if the company are with the branches, if company has its branches in different areas in different cities, then such reports of branch accounts are audited by an auditor or not, or other than him. Okay, it is audited by him or by his assistant or not, and how he has utilized that report while preparing his own audit report, these all should be mentioned in the audit report. Then whether balance sheet and profit and loss account are according to the act or not, whether the balance sheet which are prepared by the company and the profit and loss account of that particular company mentioned in his report are according to the books of accounts of the company or not. Then until and unless the answers to these above 5 questions are positive, the company auditor cannot say that the balance sheet and the profit and loss account of the company and the books of accounts of the company are according to the Companies Act or not. Okay, once he get that positive response regarding that these 5 points, then only he can mention in his report regarding the books of accounts and the balance sheet and the profit and loss account. If the auditor wants to qualify his report, he will have to state reasons for it and will have to examine the weakness in the accounts. Then special information in regard to companies to be included in the audit report. Okay, next comes is Manufacturing and the Other Companies Order 1975. Yes, National GSR 553E dated 7th November 1975. According to section 227 of 4A, the central government can, by an ordinary or special order, direct the auditor to include his comments on certain points in the audit report. Okay, so according to section 227, central government has given a special order that auditor can include his comments on certain points in the audit report, but the central government cannot issue an order without obtaining the approval of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Such an order is applicable in case of manufacturing, mining and processing companies, and companies which are supplying and rendering services, trading companies, then companies engaged in the business of financial, investment, chit fund or mutual benefit companies. Okay, then according to section 619, the Controller and Auditor General has the right to issue an order directing the auditors of the government companies to include certain points in their audit report. So according to that order, they have to prepare their reports. Then according to section 211, the balance sheet and the profit and loss account of the company shall include all such notes and documents from which all the essential information can be obtained. Then according to section 229, only the person who has been appointed as the auditor, or if as per section 226 of 1, a firm has been appointed, any partner practicing in India can sign the audit report or any other document and certify it. No other person can sign. So only the person who is appointed under the section 229 and under the 226 of subsection 1, only that person can sign the audit report, not any other persons. Okay, then should mention any abnormal qualification in his report. Yes, if after the date of the balance sheet but before issuing the audit report, the auditor gets information of any abnormal, any other than normal profit or loss, if he comes to know, then he has to disclose that in the report. Okay, then comes is true and fair. Yes, according to Companies Act 1956, the auditor has to use the words true and fair in his audit report. Therefore, it is essential that the annual accounts of the company give a fair description of the company. The word fair stands for what? The actual position of the company. Then the shareholders of the company are also concerned about the actual position of the company, right? The word correct shows what? Arithmetical accuracy. The word fair means what? Actual position of the company, and correct means what? Arithmetical accuracy. The calculation should be correct. It does not show the actual appropriate classification and grouping of all material items and consistent application of understandable objectives and significant accounting principles. To find out whether the accounts are true and fair or not, auditor should look into some issues like whether that is, he should look regarding issues like maintenance of books of account, whether the adequate books of accounts have been maintained by the company or not, whether they are true and fair or accrued income are recorded correctly or not. Yes, whether the books of accounts maintained by the company presents true and fair pictures or not, whether the company has received the accrued income or not, and whether it has been recorded correctly or not, whether the expenses incurred by the company were appropriate and authorized or not, whether the capital and revenue expenses have been shown separately or not, whether the expenses incurred by the management are appropriate and authorized or not, whether appropriate provisions are shown or not, and whether contingent liabilities are made or not. Okay, these all points should be mentioned or should be looked into, that is looked by the auditor before mentioning the word true and fair in his report. Okay, next comes his opinion of the auditor. Yes, the auditor does not give 100% guarantee of the accuracy of the final accounts. He only expresses what? His opinion about their truth and fairness. In this way, his ability is what? It is limited. If he has been negligent in making his opinion and views, he will be held what? Guilty of negligence. Okay, then how his opinions should be mentioned in that audit report, that we will see in two steps. One is disclaimer of opinions. See, it is basically a statement provided by the auditor. Opinion is what? It is a statement provided by the auditor that doesn't lay down any sort of opinion with regard to the financial position and condition of the company. Disclaimer of opinion is provided by certified public accountant, wherein he clarifies that an audit related opinion or statement cannot be provided owing to limitations of the examinations conducted. This kind of opinion or statement makes it evident that the auditor isn't in a position to provide a particular opinion with regard to the company's overall financial status based on its financial statements or records. Such a statement is issued if there is any sort of irregularity which the auditor fails to reconcile based on his or her satisfaction. So, a disclaimer is what? It is provided by the auditors only. Okay, but it will be, means it cannot be provided the limitations or the examinations conducted. A disclaimer once provided by the auditor remains effective till the time the client incorporate the required adjustments to the financial records, which further ensures that the documents fully compile or fully includes with the accounting related statements. Once the adjustments have been made, the auditor can consider re-evaluating the financials and find out whether all the outstanding matters have been appropriately resolved or not. The moment the auditor issues an opinion, the disclaimer of opinion issued by him or her previously is considered to be null and void. Okay, so as per general accepted auditing standards, the auditors are required to either issue a disclaimer of opinion after an audit or provide an opinion with regard to the financial condition and statements as a whole. Either he can give a disclaimer of opinion or he can provide his financial condition. He can provide his report on financial condition and statement. In fact, a disclaimer of opinion doesn't really implicate that the auditor is suspecting some kind of impropriety or happening with the financial statement and records. If required, the documents aren't provided to the purpose of justifying the line related items registered in the accounting statements or the records, and the auditor may in such a case come to the conclusion that it isn't possible to provide an opinion around that time. Okay, similarly, if enough documents are available but the financial record maintenance doesn't comply with the, or it is not according to the generally accepted auditing standards, then in such cases auditor is mostly likely to provide a disclaimer of opinion. Okay, if he gets all the information, all the clarification from the company, all the vouchers, all the evidence, then he can give his opinion in the form of audit report. But if he do not get such information or such explanation or clarification or vouchers, then he can provide what? Disclaimer of opinion. In addition to this, auditor will also look at encouraging his or her client and suggest him or her to seek advice and services from a professional and reputed accountant so that the records can be put in order. Okay, next comes is adverse opinion or negative opinion. Yes, an adverse opinion means what? Auditor finds one or both statements, like statement do not fairly represent the entity's accounts, one or 2 points. Adverse opinion means what? If auditor finds one or the two qualification, like statement do not fairly represent the entity's account or the audited statement do not comply with the generally accepted auditing standards, then the auditors, before publishing the adverse opinion, ask the accountant and officers of the firm to correct the same. They do this hoping to describe the outcome as unqualified or qualified opinion instead of adverse if possible. Okay, when auditors do report an adverse opinion, they give specific reasons for the opinion. As a result, auditors may point out specific accounting errors or departures from generally accepted accounting standards. If in case in any of the case an adverse opinion has serious consequences for the reporting entity, then the audit reveals illegalities, corporate officers may be held personally accountable. Okay, this is regarding what content of the audit report. In the next class, we'll discuss the last topic of the unit, that is audit committee, and we'll study some case studies, and then we'll wind up the subject. Okay, so other things we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.